Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Depravity, starring Victoria Justice and I think Dermot Mulroney. And it's got a twist. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 15. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So Dermot, I believe that's him, is in this apartment building. And he is not a nice neighbor. And his neighbor is this young guy and his girlfriend. And he is messing around with young girls. And they, I think, recognize one of them as a missing girl. And this is, I don't know who this is. Maybe one's the sister and one's the girlfriend. So they conclude that Dermot is some sort of serial killer. And that he's burning the girls' bodies in the incinerator. And I think they actually catch him down there, although it may be a moment in the movie where they're picturing him down there. I'm not sure. But then they decide, yeah, see, this is Dermot at the incinerator. So I'm not sure if he actually does it or they just think he does. So they decide they're going to break in to his apartment while he's not there to look for evidence. And in the process, they find a bunch of money under the floor. $1.4 million. But while they're there, Dermot comes home unexpectedly and they fight him and he ends up dead. One of the girls hits him in the neck with a cleaver, which I was like, I thought it was going to be a back and forth with Dermot trying to kill them and them trying to get away and all that kind of stuff. No, he's dead. So then they burn his body in the incinerator. But now they want the money. So I guess they take the money, but then other people start showing up who are interested in the money and whatever Dermot was into. And somehow they discover that the neighbors are part of the people who stole the money. So now they go after the neighbors. And they're in way over their head. And I think it's called Depravity because I think it's about how the October 15th, rated R for adult situations. I think it's about how the money causes the neighbors who end up killing Dermot to become depraved. I don't know if Dermot is actually a serial killer because that looks like the girl he was messing with. So maybe they just think he's a serial killer, but really maybe he's like a drug dealer or a shady businessman of some kind. I don't know. And maybe they killed him for nothing. So it's kind of an interesting movie because at first when I saw this, I'm like, oh, they're going to sneak into his place and then it's going to be like Rear Window. It's kind of not. It kind of goes past that. Because with Dermot dead, the threat is seemingly over and then a bigger threat emerges. Yeah, and so the line from the movie is, once you cross the line, how far will you go? See, here's a bunch of gangsters and they're looking for the money. And they have the money. Now, I'm not sure how the gangsters figure that out. That would be part of the screenplay, but man, that's a lot more than I expected from this cast. Because you got a lot of young actors, except for Dermot. And I got to admit, the dialogue at the beginning of the trailer wasn't thrilling me. I felt like, oh man, this feels like a pattern. And then suddenly, they kill Dermot, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Now he's dead? What's going to happen next? That's a good indication of a interesting screenplay when you have that thought. So, Dermot. I'm almost sure that's it. So first act, they've got this neighbor, Dermot. They think he's very sketchy, up to shenanigans, and they convince themselves he's killed these girls. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I kind of think he did, but maybe he didn't. So they decide at some point they're going to break into his apartment and gather evidence for the cops or whatever. They do. They get caught. Dermot comes in, discovers them. They end up in a fight, and they end up killing him. Second act. They've discovered money, so they dispose of his body rather than call the police. And now they want to cover it up and keep the money. But other gangsters arrive, looking for the money, looking for Dermot, and it escalates. At first, they're able to tell him to F off, and they pretend not to know anything, but the gangsters, again, gangsters are good at sizing people up. So if you're nervous around a gangster, they notice that. Oh, they notice that right away. So you could try to put on airs, but the one thing people in crime can read is they can read people really, really well. And if you're nervous, unless you're an amazing actor, they're going to know. Or unless the criminal is relatively new. So it makes total sense that they size these people up and go, because they're not criminals. They're not used to hiding their true natures. So they size them up immediately. Yeah, oh yeah, these guys did something. These guys got something going on. We got to keep putting up the pressure. So they ramp up the pressure. Eventually, they come to the conclusion, yeah, you guys had the money. We want our money. They threaten them. I don't know if they spent the money or they don't have it or whatever. And then the third act is now maybe they're the depraved ones and they have to kill these people. Or maybe they discovered Dermot was not a serial killer and he has nothing to do with the killings. And he broke into they broke into his place for nothing. And they pissed off the wrong people. And maybe Dermot wasn't a gangster. Maybe he was just a jerk. But the other guys were clearly gangsters. Clearly more criminal. So this could be a very interesting movie. I like the name, Depravity, because I think that speaks to the theme of it. You know, when they cross this line and kill someone. All right, we got to go to the IMDb for a write-up, because we definitely got to figure out if that's Dermot, and I'm almost sure it is. There it is. Yeah, Dermot Mulroney. Paul Tamisi is the director and writer. Okay. Yeah, there's Dermot. That is an old picture of Dermot there. Oh, and Dylan McDermott is in it too. The guy I always confused with Dermot Mulroney. There's Victoria Justice. And don't really know the other guys, but wow. Yeah, sounds like it would be an interesting movie. Because it comes off as like a B movie with young hot actors that probably is just going to be very cut and dry, very standard cut and paste kind of cat and mouse movie. And it kind of ramps it up to a different level. And I like that. All right, yeah, Depravity. Rated R. Probably coming to theaters. This would be a good September, October, a good fall movie, I think. November starts to be the holidays. Any time past that, it probably goes right to streaming anyway. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on the green site, the orange site, and the black site for our 2 other videos. The links are below. Speaking of links, go to the link with my events. I'll be at Sayreville Historical Society on Thursday for meet and greet and my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. Then on Friday, I'm at the Farmers and Bankers Brewery in Woodstown, New Jersey at 5:30 for my talk. And then at the Albert Music Hall on Saturday from 12 to 5 for the Heritage Festival. It will be postponed to Sunday if it rains, but I think we're looking good. Hope to see you there. We'll see you tomorrow.